So what we're going to use for today's work is a sketchbook. It's a square sketchbook. I'm using Royal Talents Van Gogh palette for 18 colors for sketching in these current colors. I'm using one rigger brush, one round brush, and one pigment liner, and also I'm using the pencils and eraser for the pencil sketch. So colors I was using today was sap green, yellow ochre, sepia, ultramarine, Prussian blue, burnt sienna, burnt umber, permanent red, quinacridone rose, and vermilion. And we are moving straight forward to our sketch. I'm starting with a pencil sketch, and now I'm moving to the next stage of the work. It's a pigment liner outlining of my pencil sketch. It's waterproof and water-based pigment liner. And I'm gonna share with you a small piece of text from Thank You for Memories of Cecilia Ahern, and I hope it will help you a little bit to achieve this relaxing mood for nice sketching. He looks at me and smiles and sings it all over again, forgetting some words and humming them instead. During my busiest day at work, 24 hours just don't seem enough. I almost want to hold my hands out in the air and try to grasp the seconds and minutes as if I could stop them from moving on, like a little girl trying to catch bubbles. You can't hold on to time, but somehow that appears to. I always wondered how on earth he filled his moments, as though my opening doors and talking about sunny angles, central heating and wardrobe space was worth so much more than his pottering. In truth, we are all just pottering, filling the time that we have here, only we like to make ourselves feel bigger by compiling lists of importance. So this is what you do when it all slows down and the minutes that tick by feel a little longer than before. You take your time, you breathe slowly, you open your eyes a little wider and look at everything. Take it in all. Rehash stories of old, remember people, times and occasions gone by. Allow everything you see to remind you of something. Talk about those things. Stop and take your time to notice things and make those things you notice matter. Find out the answers you didn't know to yesterday's crosswords. Slow down. Stop trying to do everything now. Hold up the people behind you for all you care. Feel them kicking at your heels, but maintain your pace. Don't let anybody dictate your speed. And all of this is somehow about art and sketching as well. It's all about trying to take your time and enjoy your moments as far as your life, as far as you're here, and you can paint and you can try it one more time, and don't allow anyone to dictate to you about how your sketches should look like, about how your art should look like. And the only thing that matters is what you really do feel when you are sketching, when you are creating, when you are drawing, and what you're gonna be feeling about it after that. Okay, and the next part is watercolors, and we're gonna start as usual from the light colors. I'm mixing a bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna, and I'm gonna use it here. There's plenty of water. Just to give a slight suggestion of this light yellowish color. I'm gonna use more of burnt sienna. On the top. Adding some ultramarine. Here. And a little bit quinacridone rose. Here. I'm adding some burnt sienna splash. Adding a little bit of watery dots in some parts, smoothing the edges with water, and it should be a bit darker, so I'm adding some burnt umber here in the corner, and some of these colors here too. Using more of ultramarine with quinacridone rose, and I'm just mixing it all here. Shadows, more of burnt umber. Some parts. More of ultramarine and some of Prussian blue. I'm gonna use it here. Maybe a little bit lighter here on the bottom too. Here as well, in the shadow part. And the same color, bit of ultramarine and a bit of Prussian blue, and I'm using it here on the shadows on the top. I'm gonna mix more of this blues with and a bit of yellow ochre, and I'm starting with yellow ochre here and adding some blues on the top. Let it blend together. Okay. And now we're moving next, and we are going in the bottom part of this structure, and we are mixing a little bit of burnt umber with some of ultramarine to make it a bit darker. And here we go. Goes here. We're gonna add the shadows from this plant later. Now we're just making suggestions for its own shadow. And here it goes. I'm gonna add a little bit more of yellow ochre on the top. Here. And maybe maybe some of quinacridone rose as well, just to make it look a little bit more brighter. Okay, now we're moving to the bright and nice colors in this pot, and I'm using my sap green for all of this beauty of greens, and a little bit of yellow, lemon yellow here. We start with a mix of lemon yellow with sap green, and yeah, moving next to moving just here, covering it all, and a bit darker colors here. Nice and bright. Okay. Gonna be all right there. Okay. I'm gonna add more of sap green in these parts. In some parts we are suggesting some texture, and these parts definitely should be a bit more darker, so I'm just using a bit darker color here. Okay, totally dark in this part. We can add some of these lines, and we have a shadow part here. Maybe we're gonna add a little bit more blues on it, and we are having these shadows. Okay, I'm gonna add a bit of splash. Oh, it was a real big one. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, that's mixed again, and I'm using some of my Prussian blue, mixing it with sap green, more of blue. Now I can add this colder color. I'm gonna use it here in some parts. Okay. And here as well. All right. We're gonna move to the next stage, and the next stage is our ultramarine, just for the shadow part under our greens, and it goes straight right here, covering all of them. Nice. And I'm gonna use more of greens, more of sap green here, just for these parts. Right. It should be a little bit colder, so add some of colder dots onto it. I don't want it to be all right the same color, so I'm just dotting it with a colder one. Now we're moving to the next part, and I'm gonna mix some of burnt umber with some of quinacridone rose and maybe a little bit of ultramarine to make this not too bright, a little bit purplish color. Yeah. A bit more of ultramarine. Okay, and we cover it over here. I'm gonna use some of my yellows here as well. And here. And all of the other parts I'm gonna cover with this color, adding a bit of blues in it. It looks a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna erase a bit of color on top. Right, here we go, here as well. Leaving the space for this plant, and it shouldn't be all the same color, so I'm adding a bit of ultramarine and Prussian blue on the bottom, more of burnt umber with it. A bit too dark. More of blues. Some of blues here. Mixing it all together. Just letting it blend one into each other, and here we go. We can overlay it later when it dries. Now we should move just to the other part with light blue color here. These parts are really light, this one is too, and this part is as well. Okay. So having a bit similar color in this part, I'm using my quinacridone rose and ultramarine, and I'm just covering it all, adding some burnt umber on the top of this purples. I'm leaving the space for these papers, and I'm leaving the space for the plants that are opposite to them. Here. Use a bit more of purples, a bit more of pink colors here, and maybe some blues on the bottom one more time. Like here. We're gonna have this nice yellow color on the bottom, and a little bit more of shadows here. Erase it from the tree. some of them here, some of them here. More of ultramarine. Kind of really dark colors here. Maybe with some of Prussian blue. It's a bit too bright. And we're gonna have some nice color here. I'm mixing burnt umber with ultramarine. More of burnt umber. And I'm putting it right here. Just leaving the space for the papers. And some brighter colors, maybe a little bit of burnt sienna on the bottom. Some of pinks. And let it be like this. Just blend together. I'm leaving this space with all of these blues. Some space under it. We can leave it white, or maybe add a bit of color later. It's gonna be blue and a little bit of purple. And more blues on the bottom. Lighter here. I'm just erasing unnecessary colors. Just suggesting a little bit of color here. I'm adding a little bit more of purples here. And here. And I'm gonna go one more time with dark colors on the shadow part on the top. It's gonna be like this. One more time. All of here it should be darker. And it makes nice contrast. Now we are gonna add some colors in this part. It's still the same mix of burnt umber and ultramarine, and some of burnt sienna. A little bit more of blues. A bit more of Prussian blue. Just to have this nice contrast between warm and cold colors. And we have a little bit darker browns here. Let them mix all together. Maybe we should have a darker color on the top too. I'm using burnt umber one more time here. I'm just trying not to blend these colors onto this lady's face. And I'm adding darker color, maybe more of ultramarine here. Okay. Just letting it have more of contrast in this part. Next step is burnt sienna. We're gonna have it all here with some blue colors. Not too much water. The wooden shoes. Just onto this part. A bit darker. Somewhere here as well. And I'm mixing burnt sienna with yellow ochre. And going next to this part, add a little bit more of red, a little bit more of pinks somewhere, and one more time the same color here. And we're gonna add the shadows after it all dries, so you don't need to worry about that. Like this. I'm gonna add some permanent red. I just want to make some small stripes on her. Dark colors one more time. And here. Like she's coming out from the shadows. Okay. A little bit more shadows here. Okay. Now we're moving to our nice papers. We're gonna make them, some of them a bit greenish, some of them some other colors. We definitely need to add some blues in some parts, and maybe some oranges and yellows. Here we go. Maybe a bit of nice red colors here. Can I add a little bit of reddish and oh, it's all mixed up. It's okay. And some of yellows here. And maybe some purple. Here we go. We wait for it to dry, and next we can add some shadows to these parts too. And add a little bit of structure here, just some stripes. Suggesting some structure here. Okay. Be dark. Should be more darker. Okay. Yes, and we're gonna have some of dots here. Next, we're gonna make a little bit of shadows from these plants on the, to need them to contrast. Just making some suggestions. And here as well, and here. We all have lots and lots of shadows here, and even here in the shadow part we still might be able to see them. Just adding shadows one after another. A bit more of ultramarine and some sepia, some burnt umber, more ultramarine. Okay. And we're moving here for this part, Still gonna have some shadows right over all the place. We're having shadows here. Here, suggestion of some structure on it, and maybe it should be brighter a bit. Just adding it with some lines. Okay. And now I'm gonna make these flower pots with some nice red, nice yellows. Still we can have some red dots on it. Okay. Gonna add some bright blue with Prussian blue right here. Doesn't work so well. Maybe we should leave it a bit more greenish. Okay. Here, some green dots here and there. And we have some greens here. All of these leaves. Just suggesting we have them first, and then we're gonna add more shadows to look brighter. Okay, we're having these greens here with yellows. More of yellows here. More greens. Make it more yellow. Add some red dots on it afterwards. I'm gonna add nice blue pot here. And some of burnt sienna. Bit of yellow ochre with yellows here, and burnt sienna one more time. I have this nice and chubby cat. Just suggest him a little bit, no, not going into details. And one more plant. Okay, can I have some yellows here and some reds right here. Right. I'm adding a little bit more of oranges to this part. some blues. And this one I just want to leave it white. It looks nice, it's bright. And we're adding more shadows. Adding more shadows to the parts that we missed earlier. Here there's some of shadow from this lady's bag. Okay, gonna have a bit more shadows from her own, like this. And we're gonna have lots of shadows on the plants. These are greens. Gonna have some here as well. Gonna have some here, some stripes. And here also. Some plants here. I'm gonna add some green splash here. Little bit here. Okay. I'm gonna add some shadows to the pots. Under the pots we need some this grace color. You can mix all together all you have on your palette. Okay. Here. Okay, next we're gonna add some colors to the tree trunk. I'm using burnt sienna. Somewhere here. A bit more yellow. Okay, I'm using a bit of grace for this structure here. And some of this to suggest more of shadows. This part. We're gonna add a little bit of red dots on the tree. Okay. little bit of this splash here. Add more blues here. Add a little bit more of greens in some parts. Here as well. Okay. And some more shadows here. Cold shadows here. Should be this one. Should be here. Okay. For this next part I'm gonna use my Origo brush, and I'm just adding the name of the store using ultramarine, and maybe some leftovers from the palette, and we're gonna write it. Try not to smash this words. Sometimes we add more color. Okay. Xinjianhua. It means fresh flowers. And we're gonna add a telephone number. Now adding final touches with cold greens, some parts just make it more 3D dimensional. Sorry, I almost forgot to add some dots of this green with my yellow color. Should not so bright on the top when there's in the shadow part, but just can go nuts and try. Okay. This. Okay. This is called Chinese white. I'm not so sure is it really bright or not. Here we go. These Chinese whites are really nice. Okay. Here we add a little bit of white in some parts where we need highlight a bit. Here. And some stripes here. Okay. And that's it. And maybe we can call it a day. Thank you for sketching with me today and see you in the next video.